Only Murders in the Building gave us a decent fourth episode last night where we didn't get too much in terms of information on what's happening, but I think we did get a lot of nuggets and little clues on who the murderer was, and guess what? Paul Rudd was back. Now, before we go too big into the review and details and just theories for Only Murders in the Building Season 4, just a shout out to anybody who subscribed to the channel. We're 34 subs away from the goal to 500 for the year, so we're moving quickly up on that goal. I just want to thank anybody who's hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, shared with anybody that they know. But without further ado, Only Murders in the Building, Episode 4, centers around us kind of getting to look at Saz's past, and in particular, Charles's understanding of Saz's paradise, which ends up being kind of a stunt training camp that Saz had planned to go on. Most of the scenes out throughout here were pretty fun, really focusing heavy on Paul Rudd returning as an Irish stunt person who was the stunt double to Ben last season. Seeing Paul Rudd ham this up and being so involved in the season in this episode was a breath of fresh air. We love Paul Rudd as an actor here. I think he does a really good job in comedic roles and just comedic bits. And just his character as a stunt character, I think, does two things. One, it puts another suspect on my list because he was very quick to be wanting to work for a job, whether it be for Charles and or for, their movie coming up. And he's out of work since Ben has died. So maybe there's some motive there that he wants to maybe stunt double for Charles, or, by taking out Saz, he'll see more opportunities for himself. Obviously, Paul Rudd and Steve Martin, as well as Jane Lynch, all three look nothing alike, but Paul Rudd's charm throughout this whole episode was just hilarious. It was fun. It was really good chemistry, a really good time. I thought Oliver's bit about being a secret person looking at Loretta and trying to get information about Loretta was pretty funny. I'm kind of sad we're not getting that much Meryl Streep so far this season. Already, I believe, 4 episodes through, and we only really saw her in that first episode. But I think as the season goes on, the storyline will move up a little bit further. My prediction, though, for Meryl Streep is she's obviously not the murderer this season, but I think she's going to be murdered at the end of this season. I think she'll be the person they need to find the murderer for in a season 5 that had just been renewed. It's clear Meryl Streep isn't on the full cast list this season, and while that's okay because it means that Charles, Oliver, and Mabel get full, reign, and I'm enjoying Oliver, Charles, and Mabel really working together more this season. It is a little bit sad to see that such a great talent not be included as much as we can with Lorraine at the moment. As far as theories, so we get Mabel going in more, and I like the idea of the Westies all being subletting from Professor Dubanoff or whatever his name was, and they're all paying $200 a month, and that's how they're, getting by. I think it's interesting commentary on maybe New York City rent prices and stuff like that, but I still think there might be a little bit more to hide here because the radio thing I think will come into effect, and I don't take that as, hey, that was just, Christmas Guy's ex-girlfriend being, crazy. I think there's some merit and there's still something these Westies are hiding. We also got to look at the brothers, directors, as well as the TV, movie producer in there as taking the open audition of, I forget his name, but he's watching the pig and all that stuff. Very funny, very charming character. But it definitely puts the suspicions back on the brothers. Now, the writer, I don't think, was in this episode, and he's still the top on my own personal board of somebody who I think committed this murder, getting them involved and stuff like that. But we'll have to see who has a tie back, I think, to the Westies, because somebody tied to the Westies will be able to connect this season. Maybe we'll find out the person who was living in, that apartment was the writer, and he just managed to find his way over to Hollywood later. The ending cliffhanger of the episode, when they go and visit Saz's area of land that she had bought, planning to build a trampoline park, kind of like, again, for stunt doubles, stunt training. We have the movie producer holding a gun on Charles, Mabel, and Oliver. What does this mean? I think it means the movie producer is definitely not the killer. They're not big on revealing killers early like this. They were really hinting that Lorraine was going to be the killer last season throughout. This is very clearly a sign that, the movie producer, you can mark it off that list. She is not the killer this season. But I do think it means she knows information about the murder and is following the same tracks and trying to maybe get into the mind of the trio and figure things out from there. I'm interested to see next episode where this really builds on and we get more conversations from her. And in general, again, I'm putting the writer as my top choice here. And I just think that that's what my gut's telling me, but tell me your theories and thoughts down below. This was a pretty medium episode. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't over the top great. It was wonderful to see Paul Rudd in there, but the story is kind of fluctuating a little bit. I would give this episode like a medium gold rating, but I'm excited to see where Only Murders in the Building comes next week. And as we hit the halfway point, will we get more kind of ideas on who this murderer is? It definitely, hopefully, isn't going to be like one downside of it being the writer is I feel like they're hiding him a whole lot. And I like in previous seasons when the murderer is kind of forefront and a part of the whole story. So, I'm very excited to see and we learn more about who might have murdered Saz and why they murdered Saz. But tell me your theories down below. Again, like and subscribe if you want more Only Murders in the Building reviews every week, as well as movie reviews coming out, TV reviews, live stream reactions to some TV shows. All of that here on the channel and more. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next week for Only Murders in the Building episode review.